Good afternoon again. I am about to enter the June Keys penguin habitat. This is the second of 3 feeds for our birds for the day. They get fed 3 times a day. This is kind of like their lunchtime snack. We mark every fish that our birds eat. We want to keep a nice, accurate account of what their diet is. Every day they get a vitamin because the food is frozen and then thawed out, so it's nice and good to get rid of the parasites, but just to put those extra nutrients back in there, we give them a vitamin. So, looks like I have some hungry birds. I'm going to get off the mic just while I feed and record, and then I'll get back on and I'll tell you a little bit more about our amazing penguins. I'm giving our birds 2 types of fish, restaurant quality, sustainable herring, and capelin. Restaurant quality means it's the exact same fish that you would eat at a seafood restaurant. Sustainable means it's not hurting the environment nor the population of fish. So when you guys choose seafood, make sure you choose sustainable seafood. Want to make sure there's plenty of food to go around for the animals and us as well. Our colony was started by 4 birds that were rescued from Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. One of them just spit a fish right back at me. His name is Avery. He's going to hang out in the water. I just fed his daughter, Cleo. Everybody has an individual name and a band. That armband helps tell them apart, but it also helps let you know if they're a male or a female. So if you're taking a look at the bird, their right flipper, if they have a band on it, that means they're a male. If they have a band on their left flipper, that means they are a female. We've had 13 chicks hatch here at the Aquarium of the Pacific. The 3 chicks that hatched this past year are not really chicks anymore. They're almost all a year old now, but they look different. They have subadult or juvenile plumage. I do want to wish Floyd a happy 9th birthday and Gats a happy 2nd. Should actually say hatch day because they hatched from eggs. But all of our penguins hatched either in May or June. Magellanic penguins like the ones in front of you only breed once a year. They spend about 4 to 5 months migrating off of the coast looking for small schooling fish, krill, sometimes squid, maybe an octopus or 2. And one of our birds is actually named after Dr. D. Boersma. Her name is Dee. She's right here. She's a nice, polite penguin. Dr. D. Boersma studies these birds in their natural habitat, and she's gotten their breeding grounds protected. So behind you guys, all where the penguin murals are, or statues, you can see a mural on the wall, and that's what their natural habitat looks like. That's actually one of their breeding sites. Magellanic penguins are near threatened. There are about 2 million total out there, so about 1 million breeding pairs. They are very closely related to the African Humboldt and Galapagos penguin, and I was lucky enough to help out the African penguins at Sand Cobb in South Africa. It's about 50,000 African penguins, to put that in perspective for you. So they are an endangered animal, and Sand Cobb and other facilities are working very hard to try to protect them. But what you're looking at are Magellanic penguins. This is their second meal of the day. See if Ludwig's hungry. There he goes. He got, oh, no, he's not. So this is their second of 3 meals of the day. This is kind of like a snack. So they're not really that hungry, but some of the birds, like Patsy, for example, haven't gotten a chance to eat today. So I'm just giving her an opportunity too. Sometimes, like yesterday, she ate at the last feed, but we do want everybody to eat at least 1 fish a day, and that's kind of what I'm logging right now. In the lead, we have Cleo and Astaire. They've both had 6 herring. Herring's the larger fish. It's kind of a favorite for our birds. Caitlin is a favorite for our bird named Whatever. That is actually all she eats. She does not like herring, only Caitlin. But most of our birds prefer herring over the Caitlin. They swallow their food whole. They might demonstrate that for you right now. That's birthday boy Floyd right there. He's 9. He did not hatch here at the Aquarium of the Pacific, but his mate Roxy and him have produced 7 chicks for us. So out of the 13 chicks, they have hatched out 7. They are very good parents. If you're interested in getting up close and personal to our penguins, we do offer penguin encounters 3 days a week on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. You get an opportunity to hang out with our penguins before we're open, right where you guys are standing right now. We limit it to groups of 4 to 5, so you get a nice personal encounter with a penguin. I want to thank you guys for supporting us because we are a nonprofit institution. Your paid admission is going right back to these animals, whether it's to help feed them, take care of them, or educate people about how important they are. I will be back out here at about 4 o'clock to offer them 1 more meal of the day. It's pretty funny because that is actually their favorite meal. They like the first meal of the day too, but the third one is where they're like, oh, I'm not going to eat for 10 hours, I better eat now. This is Ludwig here at the water's edge. He's learned how to catch herring, but there have been gulls hanging out, so we're going to have him come all the way up to the bucket here. There he goes. So Ludwig has now had 5 herring today, and that's probably what he's going to stay at. In a few months, our birds are actually going to go through a catastrophic molt where they replace all their feathers. Penguin feathers and the structure. You can tell Magellanic penguins apart because they have 2 bands as opposed to just 1, like the other members of the banded penguin family. I'm going to go on and seeing if Paddles, okay, maybe she does want to eat. So this is Paddles here. It's a fun thing called if I say it's going to happen, it won't sometimes. When you work with animals, they do what they want. You do your best to get them to participate. But for example, these animals do participate in their own health care. Right now I'm getting a really good look at them. They're coming up nice and close to me. The 13 chicks that hatched here are a little bit easier to interact with at times, but everybody does have their own personality, so it's kind of up to me to take opportunities when they get nice and close. Like Paddles, I'm checking out her feet, her flippers, I'm making sure she looks okay. She doesn't really know that, except if she's listening to me right now. But again, these are Magellanic penguins in the banded penguin family, along with the African Humboldt and Galapagos penguin. This is their second of 3 feeds today. We also have a live webcam on our birds, so if you ever want to know what they're doing when you're not here, you can get an opportunity to do that. It's kind of fun for me as a keeper to do that sometimes because they're not always going to do things in front of me. They're going to be kind of sneaky and discreet. So one of our birds would always have nesting material in his burrow, and I never knew why or how, but he was actually stealing it from the other birds. That's one of the things I learned from watching the cam. But all 23 of our birds do have names. They all have distinct personalities, and working with them 5 days a week is very amazing. I love doing it, but it's kind of fun because everybody's a little bit different. Like Dee here, she's learning how to kind of ask for fish. So if you notice, her little bill kept touching my leg throughout the feed. Astaire here has to have his fish given to him a certain way or he'll spit them out. He's not that hungry right now. But yeah, when you work with them, you kind of get to know them. They become your buddies. If you notice, that door blew open and the birds kind of tried to make a beeline for that. That's a holding area back there. It's fun for them. What I actually might do is bring out some nesting material. Our birds are giving me some weird looks. I'll talk about that in just a minute, but it is breeding season for our Magellanic penguins. We give them palm fronds that are sanitized, and they from the trees right behind the property here, and the birds will actually ask for them, and I think Lily is in the process of kind of trying to reorganize her nest, so give me just a second and I'll be back out with the nesting material. So we're nearing the end of nest building for our birds. They usually get very into building nests the last week of March. Males arrive about 3 weeks prior to females. And they find an area, if you look at their habitat, you can kind of see they might dig a hole, they might get lucky and find a nest under a plant, and then they grab various nesting material, things they can find. In the case of the aquarium, these palm fronds are pretty easy to sanitize, and our birds like them the best. We've tried different things with them, and they kind of just look at you and drop them. And the generations of birds learn from the adults. So that happens in their natural habitat and here at the aquarium. The 3 youngsters that are around me, they don't have a burrow or a nest of their own, but they're going to watch Lily grab the palm fronds. They're going to see that. They're going to see she has an interesting area that she hangs out in, and they're going to learn to do that too. So one of my favorite things is watching the birds get old enough to become sexually mature and then build their own nests. But don't listen to Lily, because usually males build nests. Matson's actually inside the nest right now. He'd rather hang out than do all the work. So we have 2 female penguins that build the nest, Lily and Heidi. They are both sisters. Not sure if that has anything to do with it. They're just strong, independent women. Penguins also have something called a brood patch. If you look about halfway down their body, they have a crease. This crease kind of folds out and it has skin, and that's how they incubate and also brood or raise their chicks. So when you're a Magellanic penguin, you can migrate about 1,000 to 3,000 miles a year. So you're spending about 4 to 5 months of your year just migrating, trying to find schools of fish, food, but staying pretty close to the shore. They can actually swim about 100 miles a day if they need to feed their chicks or even just migrate and look for food. So Lily will probably continue to build a nest, but I'm going to go ahead and do some things behind the scenes for our birds. But I want to thank you for hanging out. Definitely enjoy the rest of your day here at the aquarium. And if you want to see our birds get fed again, our penguins I mean, that'll be at about 4 o'clock.